Daniel had spent years chasing dangerous stories. Corruption. Disappearances. Political scandals. Stories powerful people wanted buried. But that night, Daniel wasn't chasing a story. He was chasing a bus. A bus that, according to every official record, didn't exist. Rain hammered the abandoned highway. Lightning tore across the sky. Daniel stood beside his car, staring at the barefoot boy. The boy was holding an old paper ticket. Daniel looked at him. "Son, where are your parents?" The boy didn't answer. He simply stared at Daniel. His clothes were soaked. His feet were covered in mud. But there was something strange about him. He wasn't shivering. He wasn't afraid. He was waiting. Daniel took a step closer. "Are you lost?" The boy slowly raised the ticket. Daniel looked at it. An old bus ticket. Yellowed. Torn. Almost rotten. Daniel took it. He turned it over. There was a date printed on the back. August 17, 1997. Daniel froze. He looked at the boy. "Where did you get this?" The boy finally spoke. "She gave it to me." "Who?" The boy pointed toward the darkness. Then, Daniel heard it. An engine. Deep. Heavy. Slow. Daniel's heart began pounding. The boy smiled. "You're too late." Daniel turned toward the road. Two yellow headlights appeared through the fog. The boy whispered, "It's here." The midnight bus emerged from the darkness. Daniel stared. The same rusty body. The same black windows. The same impossible silence. The destination board flickered. Last stop. Daniel took a step backward. "No." The boy looked at him. "You've been looking for it." Daniel stared at him. "How do you know that?" The boy smiled. "Because it has been looking for you too." The bus stopped. The doors opened. Nobody stepped out. Daniel looked inside. Every seat appeared occupied. Every passenger sat perfectly still. Then, one passenger slowly turned her head. Daniel recognized her. His sister. Amina. Daniel's breathing stopped. Amina. The light suddenly went out. Cut to black. When the lights returned, Amina was gone. The bus was gone. The boy was gone. Daniel was standing alone beside the road. Only the rain remained. Daniel searched the highway. Nothing. No tire marks. No footprints. No evidence. It was as if the entire event had never happened. But Daniel had one thing. The ticket. He held it tightly. August 17, 1997. Daniel photographed it. Then called the newsroom. "Jane." A tired voice answered. "Daniel. I need you to come." "Where?" Daniel looked at the empty road. "I found the bus." Silence. Jane asked, "Are you serious?" Daniel replied, "Very." A pause. "Did you board it?" "No." "Good." Daniel sighed. "Jane." "What?" The bus was carrying Amina. Silence. Jane's voice changed. "Daniel. I saw her. Are you sure? I know my sister. Jane breathed slowly. Where is the bus now? Daniel looked into the darkness. Gone. The following morning, Daniel returned to the newsroom. Jane Jerry was already waiting. She was an investigative journalist herself. Sharp, skeptical, fearless, and possibly the only person willing to tell Daniel when he was being an idiot. Jane placed 2 cups of coffee on the table. Drink. Daniel picked one up. What happened? You called me at 2 in the morning. I found the bus. Jane stared at him. You've been awake all night. I saw Amina. Jane sighed. Daniel. I know what you're going to say. Good. You think I'm imagining things? No. Daniel looked surprised. Jane continued. I think you're obsessed. Daniel smiled. That's different. No. Jane shook her head. That's exactly the same thing. For the first time. Daniel laughed. Just for a moment. Then Jane saw the ticket. Her smile disappeared. Where did you get that? Daniel placed it on the table. The boy. What boy? Daniel looked at her. The boy who was waiting for the bus. Jane picked up the ticket. She examined the date. Her expression changed. Daniel. What? This date. What about it? 1997. Daniel nodded. Yes. Jane stared at him. That's the year the Kijani Village bus disappeared. Daniel froze. What did you say? Jane looked up. The bus that disappeared with 17 passengers. Daniel and Jane needed someone who knew the old routes. That person was Tobias Jikana. Former driver. Road veteran. Collector of stories nobody wanted to hear after midnight. They found him at a small roadside hotel. Daniel placed the ticket on the table. Tobias stopped eating. He stared at it. Then, slowly, he stood. Where did you get that? Daniel replied. From a boy. Tobias's face changed. What boy? A barefoot boy. Tobias whispered. No. Daniel leaned forward. You know him. Tobias looked around. Not him. The ticket. Tobias sat down. His hands were shaking. I haven't seen one of those in years. Jane asked. What happened in 1997? Tobias remained silent. Daniel pushed the ticket toward him. Tell us. Tobias finally spoke. There was a bus. Daniel nodded. We know. No. Tobias looked directly at him. You don't. He continued. It wasn't a normal bus. 17 passengers boarded. The driver. Tobias paused. Was Joseph Jikana. Daniel asked. Who was he? Tobias looked at the ground. My brother. Silence. Jane asked. What happened? Tobias whispered. The bus disappeared. Daniel asked. Where? Tobias answered. Kijani Village. Jane opened her notebook. Was there an accident? Tobias shook his head. No. Then what happened? Tobias looked toward the road. The bus simply vanished. Tom Opio suddenly appeared behind them. So, everyone turned. Tom was holding a camera. Are we saying 17 people disappeared without crashing? Tobias nodded. Tom thought for a moment. That's actually worse. Jane looked at him. Tom shrugged. I was trying to contribute. Aisha Mohammed joined the investigation. Aisha specialized in archives. Old newspapers. Government records. Police files. Forgotten reports. She spent 2 days searching. Then she called Daniel. I found something. Daniel rushed over. Aisha placed a newspaper on the table. Headline: 17 passengers missing after night journey. Date: August 17, 1997. Daniel read the article. The passengers had boarded a bus at approximately midnight. The bus never reached its destination. No wreckage was found. No bodies. No vehicle. Nothing. Daniel looked at Aisha. Where's the official investigation? Aisha smiled bitterly. That's the strange part. There isn't one. What? The police file exists. The newspaper exists. Eyewitnesses exist. But Aisha placed another document beside it. The accident itself doesn't exist. Daniel stared. How? Aisha shook her head. Someone removed it. Jane leaned closer. Someone. Aisha nodded. Someone deliberately erased the incident. Tom looked at the documents. So we are dealing with ghosts? And government paperwork. He sighed. Which one is more frightening? Jane looked at him. Paperwork. Tom nodded. Exactly. Aisha discovered another document. A passenger manifest. 17 names. Daniel scanned the list. Then stopped. There was a name he recognized. Amina Otieno. Daniel's face went pale. No. Jane looked at him. What? Daniel pointed. That's my sister. Aisha shook her head. Daniel. My sister was born years later. Aisha nodded. I know. Daniel stared at the page. Then how is her name here? Nobody answered. Aisha slowly turned another page. Another passenger list. 2007. Again. Amina Otieno. Then. 2017. Again. Amina Otieno. Daniel whispered. Someone is using her identity. Aisha shook her head. No. Then what? Aisha pointed to the signatures. Same handwriting. Daniel stared. 3 passenger lists. 3 different years. Same name. Same signature. Same handwriting. Daniel whispered. That's impossible. Aisha replied. That's why I'm afraid. That night, Daniel returned to the abandoned highway. Jane went with him. So did Tobias. Tom brought his camera. Aisha brought the old passenger records. They waited. 11:55 p.m. Nothing. 11:58. Nothing. 11:59. Silence. Then, a sound. Ding. Tobias whispered. It's coming. Daniel looked down the road. 2 headlights appeared. The midnight bus. It rolled toward them. Slowly. Silently. It stopped. The doors opened. Daniel looked inside. 17 passengers. This time, they were all staring at him. Then someone stood. An elderly woman. She walked slowly toward the front. Daniel recognized her. The same woman Grace had seen. The woman with the black eyes. She smiled. Then said, Daniel. Daniel froze. How do you know my name? The woman smiled wider. Your sister told us. Daniel stepped forward. Where is Amina? The woman pointed toward the back. She is waiting. Daniel looked. At the very back, a figure sat alone. Amina. Daniel's voice broke. Amina. She slowly raised her head. But before Daniel could move, the driver spoke. Not yet. Daniel turned. The driver's face remained hidden beneath the cap. Daniel shouted. Who are you? The driver answered. Ask your sister. The door slammed shut. The bus began moving. Daniel ran alongside it. Amina. The window opened. Amina looked at him. She whispered. Find the crash. Daniel stopped. What crash? Amina's face filled with fear. The crash that never happened. The window slammed shut. The bus disappeared. Daniel stood motionless. Jane walked toward him. What did she say? Daniel looked at the passenger records. Then at the darkness. The crash. Jane frowned. What crash? Daniel held up the old newspaper. The one that never happened. Aisha suddenly looked at the passenger list. Daniel. He turned. Aisha was staring at one name. What's wrong? She pointed. The list had changed. There were no longer 17 passengers. There were 18. A new name had appeared. Daniel Otieno. Daniel stared. Then another line appeared beneath it. Seat 17. Tobias stepped backward. No. Tom looked at him. What? Tobias whispered. That's the seat. Daniel asked. What seat? Tobias looked toward the road. The seat reserved for the passenger. Who never returns. The midnight bus horn suddenly echoed from the darkness. Boonk. Everyone turned. The bus was back. But this time, the destination board did not say, last stop. It said, Basori. Daniel stared. Jane whispered. That's where the crash happened. Daniel picked up his coat. Then that's where we are going. Tobias grabbed his arm. Daniel. Daniel looked at him. Tobias whispered. If you go there, the bus will know you're looking for it. Daniel replied. Let it know. He walked toward the darkness. The midnight bus disappeared. The screen went black. Daniel had spent 2 years searching for his sister. Now, he had finally found a clue. But some clues are doors. And some doors should never be opened. Because somewhere along the old Basori road, there was a crash. That never happened. 17 passengers who were never found. A driver who officially never existed. And a bus that still comes back every midnight. Next episode, The Road That Disappears. Daniel and his team travel to Basori to investigate the forgotten crash. But they discover something impossible. The road to the crash site doesn't exist during the day. They search for it. They ask the villagers. They check all maps. Nothing. There is no road. No path. No sign that a vehicle ever passed through that part of the forest. But then, midnight comes. And exactly at 12 o'clock, the road appears. A narrow, forgotten road emerges from the darkness. The trees seem to move away from it. The mist settles over the ground. And somewhere in the distance, Daniel hears the sound of an engine. His team freezes. Because they all recognize the sound. It is the same sound described by the survivors of the crash. But this time, there is no vehicle on the road. Only headlights. Moving slowly toward them. Daniel raises his camera. The headlights stop. Then, the engine dies. Silence. And from inside the darkness, someone whispers Daniel's name. Who knows the truth about the road? Why does it appear only at midnight? And what really happened on the night of the forgotten crash? Find out in the next episode of Midnight Bus. Thank you for watching and supporting AfriTales. Every view, comment, like, share, and subscription helps us continue bringing you African mysteries, legends, and unforgettable stories. If you've enjoyed this episode, like the video. Share it with your friends and family. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe to @AfriTales_co and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. Tell us in the comments. Would you follow a road that only appears at midnight? Until next time. Stay curious. Stay alert. And remember, some roads are not meant to be found.